Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to create this boat model in SolidWorks 2024. This is the model for one of my client on Fiverr. So I have steps of this model. So I will show you only steps, and we go back to. So here we start it from the planes. So I have created this plane first. In the reference plane is a front plane, and the distance between the planes is 4500 mm. So this is my first plane, and this is my second plane. Now the next step is to create this sketch. Here we can see that the bottom dimension is 2000 mm and the top is 2200 mm, and the height of this model is 500, and the distance from middle is 250 mm, and this is the height of the hull. Click OK, and the next one is, yes, we can use a convert entities command to convert this sketch on this plane, and click OK. And after that we can use a loft command to create this sketch, and click OK. And after that this was my convert sketch of this one, and the next one is this. Here we can see that the distance, horizontal distance is 1000, and the distance from this point to this point is 1100 mm, and it is 250 mm high. Yes, and this is a loft feature. In a loft feature we can use tangent constraint. Here you can see that this will capture the tangency of this previous feature. Click OK. Now the our base is ready. We can hide these planes and also these sketches. Also we need to hide this one. Yes, after that, yes, this was the back section of this model. I created extrude cut for this, and the measurements for this cut is 500 by 250 mm. And next is this cut, and for this we have horizontal distance of 250 mm from this point to this point, and this line fix here at this point, and this is our cut to make it angled. After that we can use a shell command, and the amount of shell is 24 mm, and these two faces which we want to shell. Click OK, and this is the base of the boat, which is called as hull. After that you can use offset command. We need to make the small sections of this hull. The first layer will be almost 1 mm. We need to offset these faces, and click OK, and here is our offset face. And then I used split command to make slices of this base model, and now we can see that we have this slice, and this is one solid body separately. Here we can see we have two bodies. We can hide this one, and this is our one body, and this is our second body. We need to make more slices of this part. For that again we need to offset the faces. For that we need to hide this one, and I click on this, and I used these faces to offset, and the offset distance is 1 mm. I used offset to split this model, and we can see that this is not an easy model to split, so I used this trick, and again I used split command, and for trim tool I used my offset surface, and selected body is this one, and then resulting bodies are this one and this one. Click OK. Now I can see that here are two bodies, and their thickness is 2 mm for each body. And next I need some planes, and here are some planes, we will use them later. And next is extrude cut, and here you can see that I want to insert a reinforcement in this area, so I splitted this middle part. So for that I created this type of sketch, and offset distance is 50 mm, and extrude cut distance is almost 30 mm. Click OK. Okay, now I have this another separate body, and this is our second, this is our third body. These two outer bodies are carbon fiber layers, and this is the foam between the layers. Create two more carbon fiber bodies with the same thickness here inside, so I will create them later. Now I patterned this extrude cut to make more slices of this inside foam, and here is our reinforcement, and the dimensions for reinforcement are 50 by 50, and the width of this one is 30 mm. Click OK, and here is our reinforcement, and the next is to pattern this reinforcement. For that click on pattern, and in the pattern we need to pattern the bodies, because this is not a must, this is a separate body. Click on this body, and in the next we need to fix the direction. For the direction we can click on any of this plane, so we can get such a pattern, and the pattern distance is 1000 mm, because the distance between this point and this point is 1000, and the number of patterns are 4. Click OK. Now over two outer layers, and then inside foam layer, and then we have this reinforcement. After that again we will offset, because I already told that we need to make more slices of this foam to make two layers of carbon fiber inside of this, and the foam will be between these 4 layers. So I offset these faces, and after distance is 20 mm for these outer faces. I show you how. And the offset distance for these faces is 20 mm, because I want to keep this as 20 mm form between the layers of carbon fiber. Click OK. After that, again we will use split command. And as we know that we have these bodies as separate, so we need to split them separately. Here is our first slice, here is our second slice, and also for this one, and over inside there is also ready. After this we will offset again, and this time we need to make another layer around this reinforcement. So for that I used this method, in which I offset this distance about 20 mm, because I will keep the same amount here and here. And in the next here is again 20 mm offset, and this is our offset face. Now I used this split command because when I will split this one, then this one will act as a separate body, and then I will offset this one, and this one surface to make a layer around this one. So I splitted all the bodies like this and like this, so we have separate bodies. And then for offset, here is our offset distance. This time I used a different method, in which I used total offset surface of 2 mm, and I selected these faces of the reinforcement. Click OK, and in the next here you can see again I offset those already offsetted faces, and the reason is that I want to thicken them. If you see clearly here, you will notice that the inside offset faces are now thickened, and the total distance is 2 mm. And the same for other reinforcements. Now I need to combine this layer and these new thickened faces. For that I selected these new thickened faces and this layer of carbon fiber to make a new body, and I can see that now I have this new body. Now I will extrude cut to make them smooth from here, and in the extrude cut I selected only these bodies where our faces were not so good, so I removed them to make them uniform. So click OK. In the extrude cut, this is a very useful tool which is called feature scope, in which we can select our desired bodies which we want to cut, and this will cut only our selected bodies and the other will remain same. Click OK. Now again here we need to make our reinforcement in this area. So for that as we can see that this is a non-uniform body and this is a curved, So we need to create with this method, and again I used offset surface, this one, and ruled off to make it out of this area. Same on this direction, and then I combined these surfaces by using this feature. Here we can see that our bodies are meshed now. After that we can use split command to split this body, and in the next we again need to split this area, so we can use the same method to offset the faces and then split the solid body. That we have this offset surface, and this is our rolled off, and then I meshed all surfaces by using this command. And then again we need to use thicken command, and this time we will not mesh this body, and this will act as a separate body, and then split. We split it from here, and this is our thickened body, and this is our splitted body. To split this model we used the inside face. I used this face to split this body. To remove this extra material we need to extrude cut, and then combine. Now in the combine we used this layer and this new thickened body, so we have now a new body inside of this part. And in the offset, now we have this whole one body inside of this part, and this is the inside layer, and we have two other layers which are outside of this. These are two outside bodies, and this one is inside body. We don't need this anymore, but now I used this surface. I used all of these surfaces to offset them about 1 mm, because the thickness of this layer is about 2 mm. We need to make it half, so for that I have set these faces 1 mm, and then rolled up. By using that surface we can see that we have now a new section here. By splitting using that surface, and we split this inside layer into two bodies. So the trimming tool is this offset surface, and this is inside of this, and our selected body is this inside combined 2 mm inside combined 2 mm thick layer. So over this one is our one body, and this one is our second body. So we have two layers outside, two layers inside, and these are middle layer for form. Click OK. Now our base hull is ready of this boat. Here we can see that this is our reinforcement, which is a separate body, and there is a layer outside of this. So the next we will delete unwanted bodies like surface bodies, and then we will use extrude cut command to clean this. After this base model we will create other features. So our first feature is this rod, and these are the measurements for this one. And the distance from the hull to this middle part of the pipe is 20 mm, and the distance from this point and this point is 200 mm. This is our total height from this one to this one is 1500 mm, and from this point to this point is 230, and the radius for these corners is 150 mm. We can use sweep thin. Here we can see that we have this pipe, and the thin value is 5 mm. Actually this is not a 5, I think there is a small mistake because this is intersecting here, but I will fix it later. So to show you how we can use sweep thin command to create this type of hollow pipe, click OK, and we need to pattern these to make them 4 or 5. So in the pattern I selected this edge as the direction, and the distance between each pole is 100 mm, and there are total 4, and we don't need to make the pattern of features or faces. We will use bodies to pattern. Click OK. And next we need some planes. Here I created some planes which I will use later. Now I created these hinges, and the thickness of this one is 5 mm, and I used this bottom surface to create this, and the distance from middle point to this end is 100 mm, and total length is from this point to this point is 200 mm, and this is the diameter. We can simply use convert entities to create this one, and then these lines, and this is our fillet here, which is 20 mm, and this is 40 mm. Click OK. We need to use this offset command. Here we can use this to create this feature here. These are the clips which will help to keep these rods in their place. Actually we can create it as a separate part and go to assembly and use this as a separate part, but I think we can use it as a new body here. This will help us to create an accurate model. So I created it here, and this is not a meshed body, so it is a separate, and this is the total height of this one, and the offset distance is 50 mm because I created this on this surface, so 50 mm is enough. Click OK. Now I need to make a pattern of this one. So in the pattern I made 3, and the distance between this point and this feature and this feature is 1000 mm. And the same pattern here. After that we need to make mirror. Here is our mirror, and we had one more pole like this, so the distance is different for this one, so I created a new pattern of this. So distance is 1250 mm, and our pattern bodies are this pole and this one body, and over this mirrored body. So click OK. Yes. Now our structure is ready to put a roof over this one. For that we need some additional rods, and for that I created this 40 mm and distance from this point, and this middle point is 696.41, and same from here. It means that it is in the middle of this one to this one, and we need to mirror it here, and here is our roof. And distance from this point to this point is 22 mm, and 2 mm will be thickness of this one, and that here we can see that the pole is about 40 mm, so 2 mm is the thickness of this roof, so it will cover this area. After that we need to make it a thick body to make it a solid. Here is our roof ready. Now we need to create poles like this here, and the dimensions are 150 from this point to this point and 400 from this point to this point. Click OK, and again we need to use sweep thin feature. So again I used sweep thin command. So in the sweep I used this thin feature of about 5 mm, and here is my 5 mm. Click OK, and I need to move this body. Yes, and I moved it in Z direction about 20 mm to make it not intersecting with this part. So click OK. Now we can see that this is not intersecting with this surface. Again here we need a surface to make a new feature like this in this area, and this is our pole, and we need to mirror it here. After that we can create another sketch on this front face, and these are dimensions. Click OK. Now our main body is ready, and our poles are also ready. We need to make a pipe here, so for that we can use 3D sketch to create, and again use sweep command. Again we need to create these clips here, and then I will mirror them here and here. Yes, now we need to create holes. For the holes we can use M18, and it is our requirement, and this is our screw clearance with the size of M18. Again we will pattern them, and then again we will create holes for front and side faces. Now we can see that I created this another feature, and here again we can see there are 4 layers. 1 2, this one is 1 2 3 4, and this is our form between this. The next step is to create a space for a seat and in this back area. Again we need 4 layers here. This is our back, and there is a box inside of this to keep things here inside of this. And this is our back area, which is ready. Now here we can see these are the stairs. We need to close them here. This is our seat. And this is our table. It's a control table here. Our bench and the middle table is also ready. This is our control panel here, and this is the table, and these are the bench. This is our steering wheel, and in the rendering we will make them as clocks or something like that. And this is our complete model, which is ready. We need to put nut and bolts here, and also we need to add some other features. I hope this video will help you to create boards like this. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel for more interesting videos. And also if someone need customized 3D models for rendering, manufacturing or 3D printing, then you can contact us. Thank you.